Hi, everybody. We all deal with a lot of heartache and wounds, and what we call these is they a lot of them can start to form harmful beliefs. And these harmful beliefs, when we're not dealing with them, they can actually take you back to heartache and wounds over and over and over again. So today we're going to talk about those harmful beliefs and help you to choose in a better direction, help you to choose a better belief that serves you rather than bringing you down.
Hi, everyone. It's Darren and Darci Lang. This is our well-being series. This is our third video together. And what this video series is about is the fact that Darren and I have been together 32 years this year.
Just celebrated 30th anniversary. Yeah,
Yeah, that deserves
I
a round of
remember it. I
applause.
remember
Oh, yep, he did.
it.
And one thing that I want to talk about is how every morning Darren and I get up and have coffee. He has coffee, I have tea every morning of our life. Like we have been together forever. And no matter how busy we are, and we are blessed to be a very abundant couple, we get together. So we decided it's time we sit and talk about with you what we talk about at those mornings. So today we're talking about wounds, we're talking about beliefs, kind of issues and where the belief systems can cause issues in your life. I think they're formed, and I talk about this a lot in my presentation at the dinner table where we grew up for sure. Then I think we get with our friend groups and new beliefs are formed. And today, these wounded beliefs can really come into our relationships. So we want to talk about how we've worked on that in ours.
Absolutely. And I always find it easier to tell a bit of a story or share a story so that maybe you can relate to, we've all got our wounds. And I know I've told this story before in various ways, but it really fits for this session here today. Back when I was a kid, my dad, he always had a heart condition, and it was a very severe heart condition. He was in and out of the hospital all the time. And at the age of 8, my dad suddenly passed away at our family farm. And as an 8-year-old, you don't know what to do with those emotions and whatnot. And I remember a thought in my head that day that said, "Bad things are going to happen, Darren. Expect the worst, Darren." And a belief formed that day, a very harmful belief that sort of shadowed the rest of my life as I grew up. And the way it sort of impacted me was that whenever there was something that really meant a lot to me, like relationships or a new job, anything that meant that it was a big significant piece of my life, that little piece of the back of my mind, that little harmful belief would say, she, "You're not going to be any good at it, Darren. What if you can't hold this job? What if they fire you, Darren? What if she doesn't stick around, Darren? What if she doesn't care about you, Darren?" And it's destructive, right? It's destructive, and it all forms from little subconscious things that we never really deal with. So the way I ended up doing one of the biggest parts about a belief is you can't really deal with it unless you are aware that you are dealing with. You have to be aware of it, right? So much of this floats below the subconscious, and we don't even know that we're doing these patterns over and over again. So when I finally sat down with a counselor, I think I was about 31,
Yeah,
32.
well into the marriage.
It was years. And first, I learned by chatting with this counselor that this is the cycle. This is the harmful belief that I'm doing it over and over and over again, and that I'm expecting the worst in every situation. So once I was aware of that belief, I really think it was the beginning, with that counselor's help, of me using my chill and choose process, because that's exactly what you do. Once you're aware that you are thinking this destructive or using this destructive, harmful belief, you got to calm down. You got to chill out a little bit, get centered.
Agreed.
And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, and you know what I was always said to Darren, like when I first met you and I heard about this very traumatic thing that happened in the most traumatic thing that could happen to a child, I'd always say, have you dealt with this? Like, is that something that you dealt with? Because you can't just have that traumatic thing
Well, and I would
happen.
say I think I have. What do? You move on as an 8-year-old
Right.
kid. You don't really, you try and do your best, right? So
Right. So I was always so aware of how, just a second here, like there's no way that that's just over. And then when, as you suggested, those beliefs came into our marriage and you started to have these fearful thoughts around our marriage, that was a real important time for you to start to heal. So that's what
yeah,
I hope for the people that are watching is we all have traumas, and I could talk to you for about 5 hours about mine. We all had traumas, things that happened in our childhood, things that happened as we were growing up in other relationships, etc. But not unearthing those traumas and looking at them and deciding that that could be the root of other challenges we're having in our life. That's changed my life. It's
Yeah.
changed Darren's, and I know it's changed our
For
marriage.
sure. And just to add one other, so becoming aware of it is something we both had to do, of the
Mhm.
different harmful beliefs that we hold. But then actually from this place, from a place where you're talking to somebody that you trust, maybe it's a counselor, maybe it's that significant other, you actually start to make some choices about what you really believe, right? And rather than with this belief system that has been thrust upon you in a time of, some of your lowest times of your life, you actually make that choice that, you know what, rarely do terrible things happen in my life. In fact, jobs, career, relationships turned out pretty darn good, right? And that is the belief that you put in there. So,
Agreed.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what we wanted to share. Just another thing that we've worked on. And I think we'll have about another 100 videos to share with you because we've done a lot of work on the person in the mirror and we've done a ton of work together. But I challenge you today, look at something that may have affected your belief system growing up, something early in your adulthood that maybe is affecting how you're showing up in the world today.
Be well, everybody. Take care.
Bye.